guys. My name is Pooja. I'm a physiotherapist at Physio Asia Therapy Centre. Thank you for joining me today evening for the stretching session. So I'll be leading you through the stretches, and my colleague Shannon, you can see Shannon, he's on one of the windows. We'll spotlight him soon. He'll be assisting to demonstrate some of the stretches. So today we'll be going through a variety of stretches that basically counter the positions that you're working in. So long sitting postures, working on the desk, those rounded positions that you tend to be in a prolonged position in. We'll be just doing some simple stretches so you can incorporate them into your daily routines. And we'll be going through some stretches in sitting, some stretches in standing, and some on the mat. So a variety of stretches. If you do have a yoga block or a cushion handy, that will be great. And if you have a yoga mat, that would be brilliant. So you can do them with us. We will be doing questions later, so if you do have any questions, just type them in and we'll try to assist you where possible. Otherwise, feel free to email us if there are any questions or concerns. Just a couple of very important things to note before we begin. Number one, stretching can be uncomfortable, but it should not be painful. If you are experiencing pain, please exit those positions immediately. In order for a stretch to be effective, we need to hold it for at least 12 seconds. That's the amount of time a muscle needs to reach a new length. So we want to hold for 12 seconds. We're going to move as far in range as is possible. So do as much as is comfortable for you. Do not push into pain. We're going to enter and exit each stretch slowly. Please be mindful that sudden movements can cause muscle spasms, so do move slowly. Not all stretches might be suitable to your condition, so please do not attempt anything that triggers or increases pain. If there are any concerns or if you're unsure, please check with your physiotherapist. Just some technical issues. So if you are not able to see me and this presentation screen, just click on the view option and then select side-by-side mode. That way you'll be able to see both. So when I'm demonstrating the stretches, you're able to see me demonstrate and you're able to see the screen as well. I'll just give you a minute to start that. Can everyone see both the screens? So me and the sharing screen? Okay, great. Let's get started then. So one of the most common muscles that gets tight, and I'm sure most of you have experienced tightness here, is the muscle along the neck. We call that the upper trapezius muscle. It goes from about here and enters into here. So this typically gets tight when you're staring at a screen for a long time, or if you're in that hunched, rounded position with the head sticking forward. When this gets tight, it can result in headaches or neck pain, and it can also restrict movement in the neck. So to stretch this muscle, just a couple of important things. We want the shoulders relaxed all the way, so everyone can do this along with me. You're going to have your shoulders low and relaxed. No point do we want this up here. Keeping the shoulder low, you're going to have your right hand behind you, touching the opposite thumb. You're going to tilt your head to the left and use the opposite hand to pull slightly deeper into a stretch. We're going to hold this for a count of 15 seconds. You should be feeling a stretch coming along here this way, so through the length of that muscle. Holding for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And relax. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So remember to keep the shoulders low and relaxed. your left hand touching the right palm, so that helps to keep the shoulder low. Make sure you're not dropping your head forward when you do this. We're going to bring the head over to the right side. Once you're there, use the right hand to pull gently to deepen the stretch, and you should be feeling it coming along here. We're going to hold for 15 seconds again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and release slowly, coming back to the middle. You can repeat the stretch about 2 to 3 times each side, and then do it about 3 times a day, just to ease that tension in the neck. The next stretch we're going to do is for the levator scapulae muscle. So this is a muscle that sits behind. It also typically gets tight with that forward positioning of the neck. So if you're spending a long time staring at your computer screen, or if you're texting all day like this is the muscle that gets tight, and it can again cause pain in the neck or the shoulder, pain in the shoulder blades, or in the middle of the back. To stretch this muscle is similar to the first stretch with a slight alteration. So again, for all these neck and shoulder stretches, you want to make sure the shoulders are low and relaxed. So you're going to keep the shoulders low. We're going to bring the right hand behind. So right hand touching the left palm, keeping that shoulder low and relaxed. We're going to tilt like the previous stretch. Once you're in this position, you're just going to turn to look down at the left armpit and maintain that pressure. You can use your hands to give it a little bit more pressure so it deepens the stretch a little bit. You should be feeling this in the back, just behind, along the shoulder blade. I'm gonna hold that for 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly release and come back. Just be mindful, guys, when you're doing this exercise, you don't want to drop your head forward. So it's a tilt and turn, not a drop forward. If you're dropping it forward, you're going to feel some pressure here. So you want to tilt and then turn. Let's try this on the opposite side. So we're going to bring the left hand to the right palm, keeping that shoulder low and relaxed. Tilt the head all the way to the right, as far as you can go. Now looking down at the right armpit, keeping the head in the same plane, and you're just going to pull to deepen the stretch slightly. 15, 14, 13, 12, keep the shoulders low and relaxed. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly release to come back. Again, you can do the stretch about 2 to 3 times each side, and then 2 to 3 times in the day, especially if you're working in those positions, given that everyone's working from home at the moment. This is another stretch for the neck. So these are a set of muscles that are in the front of the neck. So they're basically coming in from behind the ear and coming up to the front along the first strip. These muscles get tight with that positioning again, and this is an important muscle because if this does get tight for a long time, it can result in headaches, pain in the neck, pain in the shoulder, or pain coming down the arm, and even numbness and tingling in the fingers. So we're going to do a gentle stretch with this. If this does feel too strong, please ease off of it and only move as far as is comfortable for you. So for this stretch, you're going to find our collarbones. They're the little bony bits that sit at the front. You're going to grab on, almost like you're going to strangle yourself, but not quite. So just hold slightly lower. We're going to hold firmly. So you're going to grab there, one hand, right hand on the skin, and then left hand on top of that palm. You're going to pull the skin down firmly. It has to be firm pressure, so you have to be actively pulling the skin down. Once you've got that pressure, we're going to maintain it there. You're going to turn your head all the way to the left. So we're going to turn all the way to the left first. Keep that pressure with the hands, and then you're going to tip your head back slightly. In this position, you should be able to feel a stretch coming from behind the ear all the way down the front of the neck. We're going to hold it for 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back slowly, return to the middle. Just be mindful that when you're doing this stretch, you're not throwing the head back. So it's a very gentle tip at the end of your rotation. So you want to turn the head fully and then tip back slightly, not throwing the head back. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So pulling the skin down firmly, hold tight, turn your head all the way as far as you can go. At the end of that movement, keep pulling the skin down. You're going to tip your head back just a smidge. That should be enough to allow you to feel a stretch coming down this way. And we're going to hold for 15 seconds again. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Slowly return to the middle. This stretch can be a little bit aggravating, so I would not recommend doing it too often if you're not sure. Maybe just twice a day and don't hold more than 15 seconds to start with. You can increase it up to 20 seconds if this is starting to become comfortable, but don't hold it as long as you would for the other stretches. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this stretch. It's the stretch for the forearm. So typically with long typing, when you're moving your fingers for a long time, these muscles can get tight, especially if the positioning for the wrist is not proper. So Shannon went through proper desk sitting on Monday, and we will do a recap next Monday as well. But if your wrist is not positioned in neutral when you're sitting, and your wrist is up like this and you're tapping for a long time, it can cause tightness along the forearm, which can cause pain in the wrist and the elbow joints. So to stretch this, we're going to do 2 different stretches for each arm. Make sure your shoulders are low and relaxed, as with every other stretch so far. You're going to have your arm extended out in front of you, so keeping the elbows straight. The first stretch we're going to do is to push the wrist downwards. So you're going to have that arm extended, shoulders low, elbows straight, wrist pointing down. You're going to use your opposite hand to try and push the wrist further in. What you should be feeling is a stretch coming along the top of your forearm. We're going to hold that for 15 seconds again. Make sure your shoulders are nice and relaxed. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. We're going to reverse that movement. You're now going to be pushing upwards, so you should be feeling a stretch underneath. We're going to hold and pull up. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So extending your arms out again. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed, guys. Don't want any tension up here. Keep the elbow extended, wrist pointing down to start with. We're going to pull it in and hold for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly release. We're going to repeat in the opposite direction. Pulling the wrist towards you. Elbows extended, shoulders low, and hold for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Shake it off. The next one is a little bit of a different stretch. This is a nerve glide, so this might not be familiar to most of you. We do nerve glides to ease the tension along the path of the nerve. So usually a nerve supplies a bunch of different muscles, and if those muscles are tight, it can add tension to this nerve. So we want to create some movement so it starts gliding, which reduces the tension. And that in turn reduces the tension on those muscles. So when we're doing this stretch, you will feel the stretch come all the way across the arm. We're going to be moving in and out of that position. When we're doing a glide, it's more of a movement. So you're not going to be holding it in that position for too long. We're going to be moving in and out of that position. To demonstrate, we're just going to be having the arm out again. So again, shoulders going relaxed. We don't want to be up here. You're going to have it up at 90 degrees. You can have your opposite hand pressing down on the shoulder slightly. This is uncomfortable. You can take the hand off. The hand depression is optional. Keeping that hand here, you're going to be moving your head and your wrist in the same direction. So if the wrist is pointing down, your head will be pointing down. And if your wrist is pointing up, your head will be pointing up. We're going to move in the up-down direction for 10 repetitions. So we're going to do that slowly. We're not going to hold this position. Ready? Keep your arm extended out. This is neutral. We're now going to be flexing the wrist downwards. So coming down, tilt the head down as well. 1, and coming up. And down, 2, and up. When you're doing this, you should feel the stretch come all the way down into your fingers. 3, and up. 4, and up, all the way up. 5, keep your fingers straight for this one. Make sure you're not curling the fingers. Up. 6, up, fingers need to be straight. 7, up, elbow extended. 8, up. 9, up. And 10. And up. Return to neutral. Rest that arm. Give it a shake if it's tired. And we're going to repeat on the opposite side. Remember to have your fingers extended. We don't want it half bent in this stretch. So you want to feel the stretch coming all the way down into the fingertips. Repeating the same thing on the opposite side. You're going to have the hand resting on the opposite shoulder if you like. Keeping the wrist neutral to start with. We're going to start with pointing down first and then we'll move to up. Ready? And 1. Fingers straight and coming up. 2. Keep the fingers straight and up. Bend from the wrist only. 3. And up. 4. And up. 5. And up. It's only the wrist that moves, not the fingers. 6. And up. 7. And up. Flex the wrist. 8. And up. 9. And up. And 10. And up. And relax. Did you feel the stretch coming all the way into the fingers? Okay. The next one is a very important muscle. This is one of the biggest muscles in the body. It starts from underneath the shoulders and comes all the way into the back. Now, again, this gets tight with those working positions where you're forward and rounded and hunched over a desk, and it can result in back pain or pain along the back of the arm as well if it is tight. So for this stretch, if you have your yoga block or an empty water bottle, just anything to keep your arms parallel handy, that would be ideal. And you'll need a desk or a slightly elevated surface. So I'll just be demonstrating the stretch. For this stretch, you want to have your forearms parallel, like so. So the block just helps to keep that position, but you could use a water bottle or a cushion, whatever you have around you. We're just going to be moving away from a higher surface. So if you're sitting on a stool or a chair, your desk will do. You're going to have your elbow tips resting onto the surface, like so. You want to lean your body away from the surface. So the block helps to keep your arms parallel. Leaning your body away, make sure that your back is not rounded and not arching. So you don't want to be sticking your bum out the other way. Back flat, you're going to be folding forward. You want your head to pass through your hands. So we're just going to lean forward, and what you should be feeling is a stretch coming along here, down from the armpit, which is the length of that muscle. So we want to make sure that the arm's not rolling in or out when you do this either. Resting the arm in neutral, and you're just going to lean forward. Have your feet touching the ground, and that should be enough to give you a stretch along here. Again, this should not be painful. None of these stretches should be painful. You should just feel a slight uncomfortable feeling. We're going to hold it for 15 seconds. 15, 14. Try to sink your chest down as low as you can. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back up slowly. You can release the block and release. So you should have felt a stretch coming along here. If you're feeling it more on the arm, it's because you're turning your shoulder in or out too far. So the shoulder has to be in the middle. That prevents the pinching here. So you just want to lean forward, and you should feel a stretch this way. If you're uncomfortable with using the block, you can have your hands out extended in front of you as well. That's another alternative to the stretch. Just be mindful that you're not arching your spine when you do this or hunching it this way. The back has to be neutral, and you're just folding forward like so. The next stretch we're going to do is a stretch for the muscles. These muscles typically get tight when you're sitting for a long time, and the muscle runs from the side, so basically runs through the bum in the middle. And people with that tightness usually feel like they want to stick a tennis ball up into the bum to release that. So this is a stretch for that muscle. It can again cause buttock pain or pain along the back of the thigh. So for this stretch, we're going to sit with one leg crossed over the other, like so. I just have a camera. So one leg crossed over the other, and your leg bent at 90 degrees. So the resting leg is bent at 90 degrees, foot in contact with the ground. Make sure you're forming a number 4 with your opposite leg. From this position, you're going to fold forward at the hips. Make sure you're not rounding the spine like this. You won't feel much of a stretch. You want to fold forward at the hips, and you'll be able to feel a stretch in your bum. If you're more flexible, you can deepen the stretch by pushing the knee down and then leaning forward. That will give you a deeper stretch in this position. Otherwise, you can just leave the other hand rested and just fold forward at the hips. Try to go as low as you can. And you'll feel a stretch in the bum. We're going to hold this for 15 seconds again. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Uncross your legs. You're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So remember, if you're flexible, you're going to push the knee down and then fold forward. If that's uncomfortable, just do it without pressing the legs down. Just fold forward from the hips, so you're doing this motion as opposed to this. Have the leg folded one on top of the other, forming a number 4. You're going to lean forward, hold it for 15 counts. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly release, coming off of it. Relax the leg. So you should have felt a stretch in the bum with that one. The next muscle that we're going to target is the hamstring muscle. So that usually gets tight when you've been sitting for long periods, especially if you sit with the legs tucked in under your chair like this. That causes the hamstring muscle to tighten up. So ideally, you want to be sitting with the legs positioned at 90 degrees, but with long working positions, most of us tend to tuck the feet in like this, and that causes some tightness here. When this muscle is tight, it can result in pain along the back of the thigh. So we're just going to go through a stretch for this. We're going to be sitting forward in the chair. So scoot your bottom forward if you can. From this position, you're going to extend your leg out. Make sure the knee is straight, like so. We're going to flex the foot forward. You're going to be folding forward from the hips like the previous stretch. Don't round the back. We're going to lean forward and hold it for 30 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And relax, easing off. We'll repeat this on the opposite side. If you like, you can grab onto your foot if that helps you maintain your position better. You're going to hold it for another 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Easing off of that. Well done, guys. We're now going to move on to standing stretches. So my colleague Shannon will be helping to demonstrate these. Shannon, great. All right, so Shannon will be demonstrating the pec stretch. The pec is the muscle in the chest. Now, as demonstrated in the picture on the screen, these muscles typically get tight when you're sitting in that rounded position, and it can result in chest or shoulder pain down the arm. So Shannon's going to show us how to stretch that muscle. If you do have a wall or a doorway around you, this might be handy. So if you can just place your elbow at 90 degrees with the elbow resting against the doorway. Good. Now keeping the shoulder relaxed, you're just going to turn your chest away from your extended arm. So walk your feet away. What you should be feeling is a stretch coming down your chest. We're going to hold that for 15 seconds. You should be feeling a stretch where Shannon is pointing out. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To come off of this, turn back slowly and then ease your arm down. We're going to do the same thing, slightly lower this time. So you're going to have your arm resting against the door at about 30 degrees this time. So have your wrist pushing into the door. Now with your forearm resting against the door, you're just going to turn your feet away. So moving the body away from your arm, We're going to hold for another 15. Again, you should feel this in the chest, and this will be a slightly lower stretch. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release, turn back, and we'll repeat on the opposite side. So we'll do the same thing on the opposite side, having your arm extended out, elbow bent at 90 degrees. Have it resting against the doorway. You're going to turn your body away, doing this on the opposite side, and hold for 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. We'll do it lower down on the opposite side again. Have the forearm resting against the doorway, extend it out at 30 degrees, and turn the body away from that arm, holding for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Just be mindful that you're not turning your neck before you turn your body, and try not to arch the spine. The next stretch that we're going to do targets a lot of the muscles along the outside of the body. So you should be feeling the stretch coming along the side of your back, into the bum, and the outside of the legs. So the stretch is to target all of them. Again, if you have a wall or a doorway near you, this might be easier to do. So you're just going to start by placing your right leg behind, your left leg in front, slightly bent. You're going to turn your body into a bow. So you're going to grab with your right hand on top, and you're going to stick your hips out to the right this time. What you should be feeling is a stretch coming all the way down from the back into the leg. Try to make sure that your hips are squared, so you don't want your hips too rotated in this position. And we're going to hold for 15 seconds again. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly release. Make sure you're coming out of this position slowly. You don't want any sudden movements. Very good. We're going to turn around and do the same thing on the opposite side. So this time the left leg is behind. Like Shannon's demonstrating, you're going to grab with the left hand this time. Stick your hips out to the left. And we're going to hold for 15 seconds. Make sure you're feeling the stretch come all the way down from the back into the bum, into the legs. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly release to come out of it. Come out of it slowly. Very good. We're now moving on to the mat stretches. So if you have a mat around you, let's grab that. Last few stretches. So we'll show you a couple of alternatives so it can suit your positioning. Everyone ready with their mats? All right, so the first stretch we're going to do is the cobra stretch. Those of you that practice yoga regularly might have done this before. This is to maintain the flexibility of the spine in all positions. So we're going to start by lying your stomach on a flat firm surface, which is your mat. You're going to have your elbows bent underneath, so underneath your shoulder. You want to squeeze your shoulder blades together towards the center. So think about opening your chest up and squeezing your shoulder blades together. Keep the shoulders relaxed. You don't want to hunch up. While squeezing these, you're going to slowly lift your chest off the ground and come up as high as is comfortable for you. Slowly coming up. Very good. If this position is too uncomfortable for you, you can place a pillow underneath your tummy. And if you feel like your feet feel uncomfortable at the ankles from being pointed, you can add a towel roll or a smaller pillow underneath the ankles as well. That will give it a bit more support. So again, having the hands underneath the shoulder, you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades in towards each other, keeping the shoulders low and relaxed, and slowly lift the chest up. Coming up and holding for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7. Remember to breathe. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly release. Coming down slowly. And to exit this position, you're just going to walk your hands behind and rest on your heels. Good. From that position, we're going to move on into the child's pose. Again, some of you might have done this before. You'll feel a nice stretch in the lower back when you're doing this. Should be a gentle stretch, nothing too aggressive. So if you're finding that your bum doesn't touch your heels, you can add a pillow in between your bottom and the heel to give it a bit more support. And if your ankles feel uncomfortable, you can leave a pillow underneath them. If you're flexible and you're comfortable with these positions, you can do them without the pillow. With your bum resting on your heels, you're just going to slowly walk your hands forward. Make sure you're not arching your back in this position. Walk your hands as far forward as you can. You should be feeling a stretch along your lower back and your bottom. We're just going to hold this for 15 seconds. If you like, you can rock gently from side to side. I'm going to hold it for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To exit this, just walk your hands behind slowly. Very good. And coming up into sitting on your heels again. Well done. Our final stretch for today is for the mid-back. This is called the puppy pose. So again, it's to maintain the flexibility of the spine in all its segments and in all the movements. So we're going to start in that position. If your ankles are uncomfortable, you can leave the pillow underneath them. If you're okay, you can take it off. You want your hips in a perpendicular position, so hips over the knees. From this position, you're going to slowly walk your hands forward, aiming for your chest to reach the ground. So sinking your chest towards the ground, keep extending your arms slowly, bit by bit. Make sure your hips stay over your knees at that 90-degree position. Very good. We're gonna hold that for 15 seconds again. 15, 14, 13. Keep the hips perpendicular at 90. You don't want to move them forward. Make sure you're not arching the back. You should be feeling a stretch in the mid-back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly release by walking your hands back. Keep walking your hands back slowly and rest back on your heels. Well done. Right. Good. That brings us to the end of our stretching.